You often hear about feral animals, but feral children are something you don't hear about every day. Feral children are when children have been swept away from their human contact, isolated from anybody to teach them how to be a person. In rare situations, the unthinkable happens. Sometimes, animals take care of these kids and raise them as their own. Feral children discovered are some of the most interesting cases of when people are isolated because the effects are sometimes tragic or the children themselves are much different than regular children. So that's why today we're taking a look at 5 children who were raised by animals. But before that, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more incredible videos. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Perhaps one of the most spectacular cases of feral children and adults is Nij Chady. She went missing in the jungle at the age of 4 and was only seen after 38 years in 2012. Local communities had heard for a while about rumors and stories about a girl living in the jungle for years, but they had always thought of it as a myth or a nonsense gossip. Chady went missing in India, close to the border with Myanmar, and was later found in Myanmar, living naked in what was a cemetery at the time. We would say what is more remarkable is that for someone who lived in the jungle for basically all her life, being raised or at the very least learning from animals around her, she's very human-like. She can talk in very simple and rudimentary ways, can learn new words, and is not particularly shy of human interaction. Her family hasn't allowed any medical or psychological attention for her once she was found for some reason, so we can't be sure of her immediate mental state following her being taken back to civilization. In December 2007, Russian authorities brought in a boy who was living with wolves. He looked to be around 10, but may have been actually older than that. He apparently didn't speak any Russian or have any speech abilities at all, and exhibited wolf-like behavior. Some local villagers from around the area of the Kaluga region of central Russia found him in a lair made from leaves and freezing temperatures, fairly close to Moscow. The authorities brought him in, gave him a shower, and cut his nails, which were incredibly long, and he escaped from the facility within 24 hours. Nothing is known of his current whereabouts. They say that alongside his wolf-like actions and tendencies, his erratic and scary behavior, and the fact that he could be carrying viruses, he could be a danger to others as well as himself. Born in 1992, Ivan Mishukov stayed with wild wolves between the ages of 4 and 6 years old. He had escaped from home to escape his mother's alcoholic and abusive boyfriend and became part of a feral dog pack in the area. Ivan was smart and gained the dogs' trust by providing them with food, and in return he was protected and kept safe by the pack of wild dogs that he was now almost family with. Eventually he was made the pack leader, but it wouldn't be long until he was rediscovered and was taken by the police 3 separate times and did subsequently escape, helped by the pack. He was eventually captured by leaving a lot of food outside of a restaurant to lure him. Interesting enough, despite his time spent with the pack, he relearned language fairly rapidly. Despite him relearning language, it was pointless to try and explain to him that human society is better than living in the dog pack, because clearly for him, it certainly wasn't. He was living in a dog pack where they loved and appreciated him and depended on him, and he clearly felt that. The winter months in Moscow are extremely harsh, and the dogs helped him get through the severe weather and difficult conditions by keeping him warm. But the most extraordinary part of this case is that the dogs have taught him love and emotional support, and to him, that meant civilized, no more, no less. Deep in the northern Indian jungle in 1872, a group of hunters stopped in their tracks, questioning what they were seeing. A pack of wolves ran through the forest, followed by a strange human-like form, a small child, running on all 4 legs. All of the wolves disappeared into a nearby cave. The hunters planted a fire at the opening of the cave and smoked the pack out. As the group of wolves appeared out of the opening, the hunters killed them and left behind a small boy, Dina, and they decided to take him back home. Dina was taken back to an orphanage, feeling out of his element like many feral children before him. He could not speak, only verbalize in animal-like noises. Dina lived a fairly short life, only living for another 20 years or so. His body was always contorted and showed no signs of human traits. While he could walk on 2 legs, he preferred all 4 instead. And while he didn't adopt many human traits, he did adopt chain smoking and unfortunately may have died of tuberculosis in 1895. The story of a child raised by orangutans is probably the closest we will ever see to a real-life Tarzan, as the tale of the feral child of Borneo goes to show us. The child of Borneo is shrouded in mystery as to who the child in question is. Locals had reported seeing a child moving along the trees. Many people say he must have been lost in the rainforest as an infant and might have been taken care of by the local orangutan since he was a baby, but no official reports can nail down any concrete info on the boy. The capture of the boy was rather difficult, as he is not only very nervous around humans, but the orangutans had fervently defended him from capture. 3 full-grown orangutans had to be tranquilized to even get to the boy, After being apprehended, the boy was actually surprisingly in good health, no malnutrition in sight. He had been eating well. He was between the ages of 4 to 7 years old, and the child caseworkers are still attempting to find out who he is as they try to re-include him back into human society. Feral children raised by animals can develop into very perplexing beings. When a child is raised feral, the question of where the dividing line between humans and animals is, and what it really means to be human, is pondered by all those involved with researching these children. We do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.